The teasers dropped, the fandom went silent. In an instant, the entire K-pop world was turned upside down.
Oh, absolutely upside down.
Who are they? The rookie group that just destroyed every major idol. Welcome to StarScope K-Report. Join Eric and Minji as they ride the Hallyu wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates.
From internet-breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
Yes, we do. And today, we are looking at an absolute earthquake on the 2026 charts. If you've been following your timeline, you know the entire landscape is just shifting right now.
It really is. We have a situation where a fifth-generation rookie group, and get this, an acoustic sibling duo, have completely dethroned the biggest agency titans in the industry.
It's wild. It's actually wild.
So today we're breaking down the source material, the chart data, analyzing the Billboard staff reviews, and diving straight into the raw, unfiltered Reddit threads where netizens are just tearing the biggest blockbusters apart.
Tearing them to shreds, honestly. And hey, if you love staying updated on your bias and want to catch every single drop of KT, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss an update.
Definitely do that.
So let's get right into the headline story. 404 not found. More like 404 #1. You've probably seen them dominating your feed, but we really need to talk about the monster rookies, Kiki.
Right, the monster rookie.
They came out of absolutely nowhere to claim Billboard's #1 best K-pop song of 2026 so far. Like, how did this even happen?
Well, to understand how unprecedented this rise is, you really have to look at the mechanics of their debut. They're a girl group under Starship Entertainment, and they only just debuted back in March of 2025.
Barren over a year ago.
Exactly. They debuted with the track IDOA. Now, getting a music show win is notoriously difficult for rookies, right? Because it requires this massive combination of digital streams, physical album sales, broadcast scores, and live fan voting.
Yeah, you basically need a massive established fandom to even stand a chance.
Right. But KiiKiii secured their first win on NBC's show, Music-Core, in just 13 days.
13 days? That is unheard of.
It is. And they followed that up with Dancing Alone in August. But the track that actually fractured the industry, that's from their second mini-album, Delulu Pack, which dropped this past January.
Yes, the smash hit, 404, New Era.
I have had this on an endless loop for months. Honestly, you literally cannot open any app without hearing it right now.
It's everywhere.
What makes it so fascinating to me is their Gen Z concept. It doesn't feel confined to that usual hyper-polished idol mold we're used to seeing.
Right, it's a bit rougher around the edges.
Yeah, it feels a little messy, a little rebellious, and just completely authentic to how young people are actually feeling online right now. It just hits different.
It does, and the chart statistics actually reflect that massive cultural resonance. 404 New Era hit #1 on the Melon TOP100 just 16 days after its release.
Wait, 16 days? On Melon? Yeah, on Melon. Which, for context, is the largest domestic streaming platform in South Korea. Hitting #1 there means you aren't just relying on a dedicated fandom streaming in organized shifts.
Right, the zombie streaming.
Exactly. It means you have actually captured the general public. It made them the very first new song released in 2026 to reach that top spot.
Oh, wow.
And globally, the footprint is just as staggering. It charted on the Billboard Global Excl chart for 8 consecutive weeks.
Which is mind-blowing for a rookie group barely a year into their run. And the production is where the magic really lives for me. It's this infectious, deep house strut track.
The beat is incredible.
Right. They brought in the British production duo London Noise and Omega Sapien of the alternative hip-hop collective Bombing Tiger.
Right.
And it's full of these cool audio references to Wi-Fi, static antennas, and dead radar signals.
He creates such a specific atmosphere.
Exactly. But here is the lyrical genius, okay? They flipped the literal internet error code, HTTP 404 not found, into a metaphor for finding freedom.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, they are telling digital natives that when you disconnect, you find a freedom that exists without coordinates. It is a sharp, brilliant message telling fans to put down their smartphones and face reality.
That anti-digital message, layered over an electronic deep house beat, creates a really compelling sonic irony. And it's clearly translating across borders.
Oh, for sure.
Because they charted on Billboard Japan's Hot Albums and Heat Seeker songs and completely blanketed the full song rising chart on China's QQ Music.
That's huge.
It really is.
Yeah.
Penetrating the Oricon and QQ charts usually requires years of localized promotions or a legacy agency's heavy influence, but Kiki did it organically through the sheer virality of the song's message.
Okay, I am looking at all these broken records, but I have to push back for a second. Because imagine you are looking at the massive marketing budgets of these top agencies.
Right, the big four.
Yeah, can a rookie group, barely 12 months into their debut, really lead a new era of K-pop? Or are we just looking at a brilliantly executed marketing campaign by Starship? I mean, they know how to market.
Well, that is the exact skepticism you would expect. But if you look at the critical analysis in the sources, it points to a genuine movement. Billboard's official review actually addressed that doubt head-on.
Oh, they did. What did they say?
The reviewers noted that 404 is the most ubiquitous error code on the internet. Everyone knows it. But the reason Billboard ranked them at #1 is that the group doesn't merely sing about a new era. Their execution pulls the listener directly into it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, many artists drop lore-heavy music videos claiming to start a new chapter. But the reviewer specifically wrote that KiiKii's daring, confident live performances back up that bold ambition. You just can't fake stage presence.
You really can't. You either have it or you don't. And their fandom is eating it up. They've got their mid-August comeback plan. And while they wait, fans are being fed every Wednesday at 7 p.m. with their weekly variety show, KiiKiii Pang Pang Season 2.
The content never stops.
The hype train is moving at light speed, honestly.
And this skyrocketing trajectory of a fifth-generation group sets up a really jarring contrast with what is happening at the very top of the industry food chain.
Oh, the contrast is wild. And that's not even the most shocking part of this deep dive. Later, we'll uncover the Reddit thread where Knets absolutely dragged the highly anticipated comebacks of K-pop's biggest titans.
It gets pretty brutal.
It does. Because while KiiKiii, alongside other fifth-gen leaders like Saint Satine, Ahof, and Noora, are proving their durability, the third and fourth-gen titans were operating in a completely different reality in 2026.
Which brings us to a phenomenon we really need to unpack today. Basically, when 5.2 million sales just isn't enough.
For fandoms, 2026 felt like a fever dream. I mean, the Kings came home from the military, the absolute biggest girl groups dropped anniversary albums, but the domestic reaction was completely divided.
Right, because commercially, the industry has never looked healthier. Physical album sales across the K-pop industry increased by 15% year-over-year in 2026.
15% is a massive jump.
It is. If you look at the Circle chart, which is South Korea's official chart tracking physical album shipments and digital performance, the numbers are just astronomical.
Let's talk about those numbers because BTS made their OT7 military return with the album Orang, and they pulled in over 5.2 million first-week sales.
5.2 million just in the first week.
It was a masterclass in neo-traditional pop. They mixed futuristic synth pop with traditional Korean string instruments like the gaeajim, and when those traditional strings clash against the heavy electronic bass, it gives you full-body chills.
Oh, absolutely. It was a massive cultural moment. And they weren't the only ones breaking records. BLACKPINK returned with their 10th anniversary album Deadline.
The visuals for that were insane.
Totally. The lead single leaned heavily into gritty UK drill and EDM, and it completely shattered records for the fastest 1 billion Spotify streams.
1 billion streams.
Yeah. And then TXT gave us 7th Year. A moment of stillness in the thorns, diving into 90s grunge and alt-rock, which earned them their 4th consecutive Billboard 200 #1 of the States.
They own that sound right now.
And ETAP pushed their dark academia vampire lore into a noir synth-pop landscape with The Sin. Vanish, moving 3.5 million copies.
And we cannot forget IVE defining elegant pop with Revive plus E. I mean, they collected 15 music show wins.
That's a sweep.
It is. And for anyone wondering what elegant pop is, think lush string arrangements, incredibly refined, almost aristocratic visual concepts, and a departure from the typical aggressive teen crush sound.
Very sophisticated.
Exactly. On paper, this sounds like an absolute victory lap for the big agencies. They are printing money. But then, you open up Reddit.
Always a dangerous move.
Right. You look at the domestic Korean netizen or Knet's reactions and compare them to the international fan reviews. The disconnect is giving me whiplash.
The divide between the commercial milestones and the critical reception online is incredibly stark. The international market is largely driving those massive streaming numbers, but the domestic listeners are pushing back hard on the actual musical quality.
Let's look at BLACKPINK's Deadline. You have international pop sites like Kpop praising it as a cohesive masterpiece and a massive club banger.
Which is high praise.
But then you jump into the Pop Thoughts Reddit thread discussing the Billboard Top 25 lists, and netizens are saying they are actually glad the album wasn't included.
Wow.
Yeah, they felt it didn't deserve a spot just for its brand name value. One user blatantly called the album terrible in both quality and quantity, arguing that after a long hiatus, an EP with only a handful of tracks just isn't enough.
Well, we saw a very similar, highly critical sentiment directed at IVE too. Now, IVE is still racking up perfect all kills, which means a song is simultaneously ranking #1 on every single daily and real-time music chart in South Korea.
It is the holy grail of domestic charting.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yet, vocal online critics were complaining that while the title tracks are catchy, IVE's B-sides, the non-title tracks on the album, have been on a steep downward trend for 3 consecutive releases.
Exactly, and it wasn't just IVE catching this heat either. Netizens were labeling the B-sides on Illit's Memi Lepinatapai, Seraphin's Pure Flow Part 1, and Boy Next Door's latest album as complete misses.
It's a noticeable pattern across the board.
It makes me wonder, are K-pop albums becoming like summer blockbuster movies?
What do you mean by that?
Think about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They rely heavily on massive CGI spectacle, everyone goes to the theater, they make $1 billion at the box office, but the actual script is shallow.
Ah, I see where you're going.
Right. In K-pop, we have massive music videos, intricate choreography, and physical albums packed with 5 different randomized photo card variants. Fans are buying multiple copies just to collect merchandise, driving sales up to 5 million, but the critics and Reddit reviewers are tearing the music apart for lacking substance.
That analogy perfectly explains the mechanics of what we are seeing here. The physical packaging and the visual spectacle have completely outpaced the musical storytelling for these titan groups.
It's all about the merch.
Yeah, the physical prowess and digital longevity are undeniably there. I mean, BTS moved 4.2 million copies of Arirang by late March alone, just through pre-orders and fan-sign lotteries.
That's just wild.
But when you look at the music that actually won over the critics and topped the mid-year editorial lists in our sources, the narrative shifts completely away from those high-budget blockbusters.
So if the biggest groups in the world, backed by millions of sales, didn't win over the critics, who did? The answer is an artist who threw away the choreography, unplugged the synths, and did the exact opposite of what you expect from a K-pop idol.
A total 180.
Yep. But before we reveal who took the crown, if you love staying updated on your bias and all the industry KT, make sure you're subscribed to StarScope K-Report.
All right, let's move into how the critical landscape actually shaped up this year. Our final headline today: no flash, no choreo, just pure artistry. We really need to examine the music that topped Billboard's mid-year lists for 2026.
Spoiler alert, it wasn't a hyperpop dance track with a massive 30-second dance plick meant for TikTok.
Far from it, actually. Billboard's #1 best K-pop album of 2026 is AKMU's Flowering.
Such a good album.
The Korean title is Gaiwa, which is a beautiful word that carries layers of meaning. It suggests a literal blooming of a flower, but also an enlightenment or a sudden sense of illumination.
I am in genuine awe of AKMU. I mean, you have to picture the current ecosystem, right? It is a harsh, fast-paced world of high-speed dance challenges, heavily saturated visuals, and just pounding EDM bass drops.
It's very overwhelming.
Exactly. And into all of that noise, the sibling duo drops an album that just radiates warmth. It feels like musical healing.
The composition of the album is deeply intentional, too. It's a minimalist 11-track acoustic album that blends country shuffle and blues.
Which is so refreshing.
It is. It marks their first studio album in 7 years, following 2019's Sailing. But the mechanism behind its success really lies in their creative freedom. Lee Chan-hyuk and Lee Soo-yoon produced this entirely independently.
Wow, they really stepped out on their own.
Yeah, they departed from YG Entertainment and established their own agency, named Center of Inspiration. Chan-hyuk served as the executive producer, writing and composing all 11 tracks without having to filter his vision through a corporate A&R board.
And that creative freedom paid off massively. They absolutely conquered both the critics and the charts. Their song Paradise of Rumors ranked #3 on the Billboard singles list, and another track from the album, Joy, Sorrow, A Beautiful Heart, shot straight to the top of the Melon charts.
Pop music critic Jong Minji provided a fantastic analysis of why this is resonating so much right now. He noted that the album recalls something more organic.
Organic is the perfect word for it.
It has returned to the raw freshness that captivated audiences way back when AKMU first appeared on K-Pop Star 2. Furthermore, the album doesn't shy away from broad, profound themes.
Right, it's not just surface-level stuff.
Exactly. Rather than singing about high school crushes or abstract lore, a track like Festival of Refugees includes the lyrics, "A festival for refugees has begun. We have no grounds to turn anyone away." It's an incredibly mature worldview.
It's so emotionally open, but you have to wonder, how does a gentle acoustic country shuffle track even survive in an algorithmic ecosystem obsessed with hyperpop? Like, how does an acoustic guitar beat out the multi-million-dollar marketing campaigns of the Titans?
Well, it works precisely because it is the antithesis of those campaigns. Flowering acts as the ultimate palate cleanser. Listeners are experiencing acute sensory fatigue right now.
Sensory fatigue. Yes, I feel that.
Right. When every single release is a high-concept, lore-heavy, high BPM track demanding your total visual and auditory attention, an acoustic album gives your brain permission to relax.
That's like a deep breath.
Exactly. AKMU's success is empirical proof that the Hallyu wave is expanding its spectrum far beyond just large agencies and massive choreography. And the critics rewarded other artists who recognized this fatigue too.
The shout-outs on the Billboard list were so validating. Hearts to Hearts took the #2 song spot with Rude. They brought this pure Gen Z attitude but placed it over a classic house beat.
It's a great track.
It is amazing to see groups like Heart of Woman carrying that first-generation K-pop sound and getting real widespread respect for it.
Cordis took the #4 song spot with Red Red, delivering electro-pop with a heavy hip-hop bass that summons the nostalgic sounds of the early 2010s. But perhaps the most telling inclusion was NMIXX, who placed 5th with Crescendo.
Oh, I have to jump in on NMIXX because they are finally getting the recognition they deserve for creating full, cohesive albums. Their EP Heavy Serenade was spectacular.
The critics specifically praised NMIXX for their evolution here. Historically, they are known for mixed pop, which violently stitches together completely different musical genres into one maximalist track.
Which can be a lot.
It can be.
Yeah.
But for Crescendo, they stepped away from that. They utilized a vacuum-like stripped-down arrangement that exposed their incredible vocal maturity. Remember, Lily even participated in writing the lyrics. They proved they didn't need the chaotic gimmick to make an impact.
Speaking of impact and chaos, I have to mention this because it perfectly encapsulates how intense fandoms get about these critical rankings.
Oh no, what happened?
In that massive Reddit thread discussing the Billboard Top 25 albums, the original poster accidentally formatted the list backward.
Oh, you're kidding.
No. So for a solid 10 minutes, everyone thought ITZY's motto was #1 and AKMU was at the very bottom at number 25. Absolute chaos erupted in the comments.
I can only imagine.
Stans were writing paragraphs of outrage until someone finally realized the numbering was flipped.
It is hilarious, but it also highlights how deeply invested the fans are in seeing true artistry recognized. Reviewers this year really favored artists who took risks over those who relied on standard formulas.
They really did.
Even in the underrated categories, they highlighted artists like Infinite Sunkyu with his warm, atmospheric album Off the Map, a Pink's mature return with Re-Love, and choose Y2K synthpop EXO My Cyberlove.
There's just so much incredible, diverse music coming out this year that proves K-pop isn't just about who has the loudest bass drop or the most expensive music video.
Which leaves us looking at a very strange dichotomy in the K-pop industry right now. On one hand, physical album sales surged in 2026. Top artists are easily passing 5 million copies in their first week.
Massive numbers.
But at the same time, we are seeing a massive surge in limited edition vinyl releases, selling out instantly across multiple artists. It indicates a massive growth in collector interest that goes far beyond just buying a CD for the photo card.
And that leaves you with a lingering thought to ponder on your own timeline. As we watch these astronomical physical sales for the Titans, driven by lotteries and packaging, alongside this massive rush for limited edition vinyls, are we entering an era where the physical album matters less as a vessel for the music itself and more as a pure collector's item to put on a shelf?
That's a great question.
Or does the critical chart-topping success of a rookie group like KiiKiii and an independent acoustic duo like AKMU prove that true artistry, a fresh message, and a simple acoustic guitar will always break through the noise no matter how loud the blockbusters get?
The tension between commerce and art has never been higher, and watching how the agencies navigate this shifting terrain will really define the entire next generation of K-pop.
You've been listening to StarScope K-Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the story shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.